together. Right? As we gather together, I'd like to invite everybody to take a few deep sacred breaths and just be here. Right? One of the hardest things is to be here now. Right? So to be here. Maybe just lower your eyes for a few seconds if you feel comfortable to do that. Feel yourself sitting in your chair. Feel yourself being here. Feeling your love that brought you here. If you'd like to touch your heart, put your hand on your heart. Feel your love space there. Having compassion for yourself and for all of us who are gathered here together to honor our loved ones. Just feel your breath, breathing in and out gently, breathing your own presence, and the presence of everyone else here. Breathing loving memories of your loved one. Breathing all your shared care and compassion for everyone who is gathered here. In a myriad of ways, we have all shared the journey. And I invite you also to breathe out in a sense of togetherness, community, as we heal and we empower one another through our presence at this overdose awareness vigil. We really want you to feel that your presence makes a difference. It matters. And we thank you for taking the time to share this special memorial with us. Deep breath in and out. With gratitude for that breath. So we've all heard the old saying how friendship increases our happiness and diminishes our sadness by doubling our joy and dividing our grief and our sorrow. So we are all gathered here as a community of friends, joined together by our wish to honor and to mourn all those who have lost their lives to overdose, and also to bring honor and comfort and support and hope to those who love them and who yet grieve their loss. And by your being here, you are helping us all to raise awareness about how essential it is to release addiction from the stigma that it holds still in the thoughts of many people. And we are dedicated to bringing to this disease the compassionate awareness that it so deserves. Life is so very precious. So may we shine our love, our kindness, and our compassion to all who suffer from the pain of alcohol, opioids, and all other drugs and behaviors that bring so much pain to their lives. So I'd like to just give you just a little touch of history about overdose awareness, how we got here. The first International Overdose Awareness Day was commemorated back in 2001. It was started by a woman named Sally J. Finn, who worked in Melbourne, Australia at Salvation Army. And in the beginning, she gave this suggestion to her friend, Peter Strecker, who worked at a community and health development program. And both Sally and Peter wanted to highlight the consequences people face when someone close to them overdoses. And another main objective of their mission was to reduce the apathy and to reduce the stigma that the general public had towards overdose victims. And since its founding in 2001, many community members, as well as government and non-government agencies in over 40 countries, have joined together to commemorate those who have been lost or who are still suffering from drug addiction, and to honor all of those who grieve for them. All around the world. This is going on all around the world as we speak. This is Overdose Awareness Week. And the actual day is Saturday, August 31st. So all around the world, we affirm that we will work together to heal and empower communities, and that way we can save lives and end the overdose. So special events such as today are prepared every year to welcome this day and achieve its main goals. So outline briefly the goals of Overdose Awareness Month, Week, Day are to raise awareness and reduce the stigma that's associated with addiction and overdose, to spread the message that the tragedy of overdose deaths is preventable, to provide an opportunity for people to publicly and gently mourn their loved ones in a safe environment, some for the first time, with people who understand. And to send the message to current and former people who use drugs that everyone is valued, everyone is precious. And lastly, we're here to educate and inform people about the world, about this disease of addiction, and to help find the ways to heal. The theme for 2024 is Together We Can. Every year, the overdose awareness committees around the world have a theme, and this is the one for this year, Together We Can, highlighting the power of community when we all stand together. And we're here to raise awareness so that we can fight stigma, promote treatment, provide information on harm reduction strategies, celebrate recovery, access life-saving resources like naloxone, and strengthen our collective efforts to take action. And these are some of the many reasons why we are all drawn here together tonight. And we thank you for coming and offer each of you a very warm and loving welcome.
Come on up, folks. My name is Safi Callan. I'm the Special Projects Manager for the Township of Franklin, and this is my colleague, Phyllis Beals. Together, we run the Stigma-Free Council, which was newly formed in February of this year. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the council in a moment, but I want to not only welcome you, but thank you for being here. If you are here, you most likely know about grief. You most likely know about pain, you most likely know about struggle, but I think one of the most beautiful things is if you are here, you also most likely know about strength, and you most likely know about support, and you most likely know about hope. So you'll see around the room today, there are messages of hope and healing, because the importance of hope is why we're all gathered here today. We know that hope means more. It means more people will support us in our times of need. It means that instead of falling to grief, hiding behind grief, we not only go through it, but we carry it and we bring it to others, and we talk about how, yes, it is a struggle, but there is a space beyond that struggle. So as we go through tonight's vigil, I want us to think a lot about hope and what it means to us personally, and what that type of hope and support can mean to others, even strangers that we don't know. So, enough with my preaching, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Stigma-Free Council. If you know Franklin or you're from Franklin, you understand that Franklin is a very diverse community. And with diverse communities, sometimes come diverse problems. One of the things that Phyllis and I thought to tackle was stigma around substance use disorder and stigma around mental health. A lot of people were not finding the help they need, searching for the help they need, because they were afraid of bias. They were afraid of being made fun of. They were afraid of being ridiculed, ostracized. You would never break your leg and think, I can't go to the hospital because someone might say something. So we understood, and we believed in the fact that everyone has the right to be healthy. So this is why the Stigma-Free Council was made. We continue to do work around it. We hope that you will come, join us, sit in, look for information, and we hope to bring more programs like this so we understand that there's not only a community of support, like I talked about, but a community of hope. So I just wanted to thank the organizations and the speakers that are here today. The Township of Franklin, under the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, is what has brought the Stigma-Free Council together. Central Jersey Family Health Consortium is here as one of our organizers.
Roseanne didn't give herself credit.
Oh, yes.
Cervelli.
Roseanne got us inspired and had us in a meditative state and did not say who she was. So what Roseanne did not tell you was this was something that was being done online. This vigil, this support of people was something that was being done online. And this is the first time that we are having it here in person. And for a very long time, it was something that she didn't, the overdose awareness day, it wasn't something that she wanted to pass by even when we were in the throes of a pandemic. So now that we can get together, she is one of the people that said we should get together. And here we are today. So she is from Central Jersey Family Health Consortium. We have Community in Crisis, also known as Community in Connection, here today. Robert Wood Johnson Maternal Health Peer Recovery Program, Empower Somerset and Somerset County. And if I have left anyone off,
Sharing Hope Family Support, part of Prevention Resources.
Sharing Hope Family Support, which I hope I have on the front of here, but I'm sorry that I left you off. But in the community of support, we sometimes shout it out when someone forgets something, so my apologies to you. We're going to start our evening off with an invocation prayer with Reverend Stephen Clark. He is from 6 Mile Run Reformed Church, and please give him a round of applause as he comes up.
Does anybody else have any problems hearing in the back? I don't know if this is quite loud enough. So yeah, a little bit of struggle. I don't know if we have to turn the volume a little bit. So, it's long been recognized how important having a higher power is for those that are beginning the process of recovery. If you're someone that prays to a higher power, I encourage you to bow your head and join me as I lift up a prayer. Ever-loving, ever-present God, in your keeping there is shelter from the storm, and in your mercy there is comfort for the sorrows of life. You are the light that shines in the darkness. God, we pray for all those in recovery whose journey is walked one day at a time, for those clean for 24 hours and wondering if they will make it another day, for those in the middle of 90 meetings in 90 days, for those whose years clean and sober are like a resurrection from the dead. We acknowledge all the times they cannot remember, and the days of pain they will never be able to forget, the families that they lost, and the community that they may have found, the lives that they now have that they could not have once imagined. We remember those who tried and did not make it. We pray for all those out there still using today. Oh God, may we boldly be honest with ourselves and willing to admit our need for your divine power and our need for others, taking each new day as its own journey of learning to trust and lean on these supports. We confess that there are days when this one day at a time business seems like very little, but we are grateful that there are days when it seems like more than enough. Let this day be one of those. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Clark. Next, I'd like to welcome up to the podium the Honorable Mayor Philip Kramer.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us here tonight as we gather for the Overdose Awareness Day Vigil. Whether you're here as an advocate, healthcare professional, someone in recovery, or someone who's lost a loved one, this is a devastating epidemic. Your presence is a testimony to the strength of our community and our shared commitment to ending this overdose crisis. In 2022, 107,000 Americans died of overdose. 107,000. To put that in perspective, in that same year, we lost 42,000 people to car accidents. In all of Vietnam, the entire Vietnam War, we lost 58,000 Americans. 107,000. That's a staggering number. And it's a reminder of why we must continue to fight this battle with all the resources at our disposal. Safi spoke of how it's throughout all denominations, all areas, Franklin being a diverse township. It doesn't matter about economic status, it doesn't matter about race or religion, it hits all of us. Whether you're a parent or a child or a friend who's knows someone whose life was cut short, leaving behind loved ones who must now live with the pain of their loss. But we're here not only to honor those lives, we're here also to honor the resilience of those who are in recovery, those who are fighting every day to stay healthy and to help others do the same. Now, the organizations were mentioned that are here to help. I would just like to point out that the Mayor's Wellness Campaign should be renamed the Safi Wellness Campaign. I said yes, and she does all the work, and I get all the credit, but she's amazing, and I thank her for that. And you can see the love that she gives to it. In closing, I want to thank you all for being here. Let us continue to stand together to support one another and to work tirelessly until we have put an end to this epidemic. Together we can make a difference. Together we can save lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate all the words. Right? Bring them right here into our heart and our head, both places they need to go. Our next speaker is going to be Lisa Federico, who is our Addiction Services Director for Somerset County, and she will share with us what is happening in our county, not only with regards to overdose, but also share with us about recovery services that provide needed help for all of those who are directly or indirectly affected by substance use disorder. And she holds a wealth of knowledge, for sure, and shares it all with a very compassionate heart. So, please.
Thank you, Rosanna. This is a heavy week, isn't it? Sorry if I stole someone's seat. I wasn't sure where to sit. I got nervous. Hello. As Roseanne said, my name is Lisa Federico. I'm a little tall, sorry. I serve as the County Drug and Alcohol Director. I've been in that role since late 2020, so I work for the Somerset County Department of Human Services. And first, I just wanted to say thank you to the Central Jersey Family Health Consortium and the Township of Franklin for having me today. This is heavy on a lot of people's hearts, and sometimes it feels like the month drags on a little bit, right? It's a long month. There's a lot of events. There's a lot of coming together. And it's remembering things that maybe we try to forget a little bit. But the remembering brings advocacy, the remembering brings education, and the remembering brings the together. And as Roseanne said, this year's theme is Together We Can. So my role within the county is to make sure our residents have access to effective, ethical, and person-centered services across the continuum of care, with a specific focus on the most vulnerable residents. I am so happy to be invited here for this event. This is an important night of community, remembering the people that we have lost, coming together to heal, and advocating for the future. Since 2020, our community has lost 225 of its residents. That is 225 of our loved ones, family members, coworkers, and friends. But also, since 2020, first responders have deployed Narcan on average 236 times per year, which is 236 more times to save someone's life. At the county, we have received more than $1.5 million from the national opiate litigation. My team, as well as local municipalities, are working hard to distribute the funds in a meaningful and innovative way, keeping residents who have been impacted by the opiate crisis as our first priority. In 2021 and 2022, some of the programs that we created with help of these funds were the Community Police Alliance Coordinator and the Behavioral Health System Navigator, because no resident should feel like they don't know where to turn for help. If you're not sure who the navigator is, she's sitting right there on your left. You can connect with her at any time. This year, and you guys will be the first ones to get this announcement actually, because it just passed through resolution last night. We are adding 2 more full-time navigators to our staff, which will be primarily stationed in Franklin Township. Because, again, no resident should feel like they don't know where to turn for help. I also just wanted to quickly mention the Somerset Helps Van, which is also funded by the opiate settlement, partially funded by the opiate settlement, and is an important part of our outreach to the community. We have been using it to provide referrals to local support services, distributing Narcan and connecting residents in an impactful way. I am often so impressed with the way partners in this county come together and their dedication to reducing harm and saving lives, but most importantly, meeting people where they're at instead of where we may want them to be. Once again, I want to thank everyone here for all you are doing to help change the trajectory of these collective but also deeply personal losses. I wear this ribbon because my niece is going into 8th grade next week, and when she was 10, her dad passed away from an opiate overdose. I hope that I live in a world one day, or future generations live in a world one day, where no 10-year-old has to feel that pain again. I will end by saying this: grief is real, as you can tell, but so is recovery. Help is available, and recovery in many forms and in all forms is possible. Thank you.
So now we're going to move on to the wonderful people who are going to speak to us more about personal experiences with losing a loved one, and I will leave it to them to tell their story, their journey of recovery as well. I'd like to read a poem that I found called Heroine's Sister, which really touched my heart a lot, and I'm sure will touch yours. So the poem is called Heroine's Sister by Kelsey Casper. I've never touched, tasted, or craved you, but I know you. I've watched my hero deteriorate in search of you, praying for the oblivion that follows, jumping through obstacles of deceit, torture, and heartbreak. For one moment of relief, one moment of silence, one moment of peace. I've never flirted, danced, or played with you, but I know you. I've watched my brother stalk, hide, and run from you, all at the same time, not wanting to find you, but needing to, for that one moment of clarity, one moment to breathe, one moment to escape. I've never listened to your promises, whispers, or songs, but I know you. I heard you in his screams, haunting his dreams. He just wanted to be free, but he was always getting pulled by you. I've never touched, tasted, or craved you, but oh, do I know you. Very powerful poem and testament, right? To the pain and sorrow of watching our loved ones go through that pain and sorrow. Okay. So for those who have known this personally, I want to invite our first speaker, Adrian. Adrian works as a peer recovery specialist at Community in Crisis, now to be known as Community in Connection, right? Which I like a whole lot better, to tell you the truth.
Good evening, everybody.
Adrian, pull the microphone up toward you closer. You don't have to hold it, but at least close by. See if that works.
Hello. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today. My name is Adrian Hernandez, and I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a grandfather. Most important, I'm a recovering addict, working for Community Connection. Forgive me, I gotta look down because I get emotional. I stand before you not just as someone who has faced significant personal battles, but as someone who has emerged stronger from them. My journey has been fraught with challenges, but I hope that by sharing my story, I can offer some insight and perhaps even some hope to those who might be struggling. A few years ago, actually over 8 years ago, I found myself struggling with an opiate addiction for many, many years. It caught the worst. It caught me doing things that I would never imagine that a person can do. And along with the opiates, you got to deal with the opiate withdrawals. It was a struggle that felt insurmountable. The pain, the craving, the sheer, the weight of trying to break free from the cycle. It was overwhelming. I was prescribed medication to help with that pain, and I survived 2 overdoses. The first one, I just thought that I could just sleep it off, so just took a bottle of sleeping pills and just take 1, took 2, took 3, 4. From 4 went to the whole bottle, and thank God the wife for 30 years that I have today. It was the first year I was with her. Through her, I was able to survive without her. but in my case, it led to 2. The second was the prescribed medications. Both incidents was a wake-up calls, painful reminders when dealing with a powerful substance. I stand here because I want to share not only the reality of these struggles, but also the lessons I learned from them. Recovery is not a straight path. It's filled with twists, turns, and occasionally setbacks. What matters is not the mistakes we make, but how we rise from them. For me, those near fatal experiences became moments of reflection and change. In recovery, I learned the importance of honesty, being honest with myself and with those who support me. I realized the need for a strong support network and the value of professional guidance. It's crucial to recognize that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. We are not alone in our struggles, and there are people and resources available to guide us through darkest times. Today, I'm grateful for the opportunity to rebuild my life. Each day is a step towards healing and growth. I am committed to sharing my story and supporting others who are on their own journey towards recovery. It is through sharing our experience and supporting one another that we can foster understanding, compassion, and hope. Thank you for listening to me and allowing me to share my story.
Thank you so much, Adrian.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
We have to all work together, right? Okay. So our next speaker is Charlie. Everybody knows Charlie, right? And Charlie is going to share his story about his grandson. A very inspirational story.
Thanks, Roseanne. Hello, everybody. My name is Charlie Drop, and I'm in recovery for long term, and just keep coming and trying to speak to get rid of this stigma. You know, I go out and I speak at a lot of AA and A meetings and things like that, and one of the things I do share with people is that, you know, I tell them too that they're in recovery there. You know, they're sitting in recovery, they're coming to meetings, but sometimes they walk around like this because they don't really see what's going on. You know, they've lost themselves, but they haven't lost anybody close to them, and they forget sometimes. You know? So I'm a type of person that I have to make sure I try to remind everybody. And I've been very fortunate, you know, to where I've been involved with a lot of different people in recovery, with a lot of different people that are here. And I'll tell you just a little bit how I got started in this, and then I'm going to tell you about my grandson that got me started. My grandson passed away 6 years ago. But before he died, me and my daughter went to Hunterdon Central High School, and the prosecutor was going to be speaking about the stigma and about the deaths that were going on. And you know, Hunterdon Central must have at least, I'm guessing it has to have at least 2,000 students, I would think, two plus. That's 4,000 parents, right? Well, everybody was invited. And me and my daughter walked in, and we saw maybe 30, 40 people. And you know, we began to wonder, and it wasn't parents that we saw. It was police officers, emergency medical, people that are here too that were setting up the tables. You know, and at that point I knew that, you know, we had to step up and try to do something. But we sat there that night, and the principal got up, and he was walking around, and he said, he goes, "Excuse me," he goes, "I have to have the janitors come in and set more tables and chairs up," you know. He was joking, of course, you know, was all he was doing, because no one else came, really. There was about 50 of us there that whole night. And like I said, maybe 15 parents showed up out of 4,000. Something's wrong with this picture. Something's greatly wrong with this picture. But, you know, we decided that, you know, we would try to do our part. We stayed there and we listened to the prosecutor, which was excellent, and we spoke to a lot of people, and we decided what we do is the next year we started, 7 years ago, I started having picnics and trying to put it out there for the public and everything else like that. And You know, the first year we had maybe 35 people. Second year, maybe 50. You know, we got it to maybe 100 people. And then last year was excellent. We got to use the college. And quite a few people that are here were there that night too. And again, I've been very fortunate to where, you know, I've worked with a lot of different people. And we showed a movie there called The Fentanyl Factor, which, I mean, I try to push it wherever I can because it's something that will definitely touch your heart, that's for sure. It's about 5 families that lost their children. I'm in the movie with my grandson, and he's in the casket. So, you know, if it doesn't touch you, something's wrong. So what we do is we just try to go around and tell different our stories wherever we can, you know, to try to share to get rid of the stigma, because people still walk around thinking that you know, addicts are going out and getting high and enjoying it. You know, that's one of the problems that we have, I think, in this country too, is that majority of people don't know what addiction is. You know, they think that he's a junkie. You know, when I hear that word, I want to, just it eats me up, because they're in pain. You know. They are in deep, deep pain. They're not going out to get high the next day or that day. They're going out to get rid of their pain. That's it. And it's nice to see that we have a few people here. I mean, but you would think that, you know, counties that, you know, we can spread the word a little bit further and deeper. And I think that we do get the word out quite a bit, but people just, they're home having dinner. This is dinner time for them, you know. It hasn't affected their home. You know, for anyone that it's affected their home, I know how what it does, you know. I know what it does. I feel the grief. I feel the pain. It's been 6 years. It has gotten lighter, I will tell you that. It never goes away. Never goes away. So, you know, when Roseanne asked me to come and speak, I said, you know, whenever I get the chance to, I spoke last night, I spoke Saturday in Trenton, you know, I go wherever it takes me. And I just, if I catch one person's ear, I'm happy. You know, so, you know, maybe they're gonna go home and say something to their family or something, you know, too. But, you know, we are doing our jobs, I can see that, you know, but something has to change. Because you said 107,000? It's not gonna, you know, and we're lucky if our numbers, I don't know what the numbers are this year, but if they've gone down at all, it's only because of Narcan. You know, but sooner or later, something else is gonna change. So, my story is that we've got to work together. That's our story. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you so much, Charlie. I think they can YouTube the movie, right, Charlie?
Yes, they can. It's on
Yeah.
YouTube.
The Fentanyl Factor.
It's only 15 minutes long, so you want it to sit there too long.
It's a beautiful film. Prevention Resources helped them put it all together,
Yes.
right? And it's definitely something you might want to check out. Okay. Thank you so much. And our third speaker is Lisa Modine, who will share her story about her son Casey. There's a wonderful picture on the table. Lisa and Casey. You passed away 10 years ago this year. Lisa's also written a beautiful book about her journey with Casey titled The Veil Between Us, A Mother's Triumphant Journey Through the Unthinkable. It's on Amazon, you can get it. It's
That's right.
beautiful, it's a beautiful, beautiful book. I couldn't put it down when I read it. It's a very beautiful book. Okay, so Lisa.
Good evening. Don't let the binders scare you. I'm just very organized. First, I just want to thank everybody for being here, because I know if you're here, you know grief. and I'm going to take you on this journey of what grief was like shortly after I lost my son and I had to address friends and family. And I know that if you're sitting here, the story is you're going to find yourself in this story, but I promise not to leave you there because I'm going to take you through it and to the other side of hope. I titled it, Love Remains. This is how, it's an excerpt, but it's also how I address all the loving family and friends that were trying to reach me at that time. That photo of my son is 6 weeks prior to his death. High school graduation, class president, enrolled in his first semester of college. I was left to figure out how my life could go on and what it would look like. My friends and family, they rallied to support me by asking how I was and what they could do to help me. I thought perhaps answering them would also help me find some of the answers. How am I? The only way I can answer that without lying is to tell you about the darkness. I've never experienced such anguish and emptiness. I've tried to force myself through the grieving process in a desperate attempt to escape the pain that tortures me day and night. It is different where I am. The world is different. It smells different. It feels different. It's changed. I'm a stranger in a world of my own. The only feeling I can identify outside the enormity of pain would be complete exhaustion. I am trapped in relentless fatigue that makes the simplest everyday tasks so very overwhelming. I can barely stand the disconnect that seems so obvious to me and so invisible to the life going on around me. I cannot always control the tears of visible expression of my suffering. They assault me without warning. I don't know the way out, then through, and I don't know how to get through. I read a card with a reference to someone chasing the sunset to capture the light of day. The words read, "The quickest way to reach the sun and the light of day is not to run west, but to run head east, plunging into the darkness until one comes to the sunrise." So today, I am plunged into the darkness, searching for that sun to rise again. It would help me a great deal if you didn't ask me how I am. Those words, "How are you?" or even a series of any questions cause my brain to spiral into a panic of confusion as I'm desperately trying to figure out who am I? What will I need? Who will I be? How am I going to get through this? I read a text message that simply read, "Morning." She left off the word good, and that seems so fitting. As mornings are not good, truth be told, they're tied with night as the worst time of my day. I thought, yes, it's morning. It's not a good morning, but I was reminded another day of my hell has passed, and I was one step closer to a day that was not filled with unyielding heartache. Do you want company? Can I get you anything? This is a hard one. The company I long for, you cannot provide. I want my son. Still gets me. I was just bragging how I don't cry anymore. I want him to walk in the door and pick up his guitar and show off his beautiful talent. I want him to walk up from over that small hill I stare at, where I beg God, let him come for a minute. I plead, I wait, I stare, I cry. I know it's possible, as well as I know he's not coming. I spend most of my days in the park sitting on the ground next to the body that once held the soul and spirit of my child. It makes me feel connected to him. I replace the roses the deer feasted on the night before and fix them so that it's scattered while dining. I don't even mind that they eat them. It's like caring for his room. I'm not pushing you away or refusing your company because I don't appreciate you, love you, or value your friendship. The best, yet grossly lacking analogy is to be compared to being naked. My sadness is so deep that I cannot describe the catastrophic feelings of loss to you. I have an endless barrage of thoughts and scenes playing over and over in my mind. I recall every premonition, every soul-gripping emotion as I approached his room. I hear the song I sang to him when I held him as a baby, and when I texted him as a teenager, and when I held him after he died. I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. I'm clinging to my faith in God. I know I'll get my legs back. We'll have time together. When? Who? These are the questions I do not have the answers to. That is an excerpt from a chapter in my book about how I addressed my family and friends. September 11th will mark 10 years. I lost my child to an accidental overdose. I share it, knowing anyone sitting here this evening has their own story, and what we all share here is grief. So on this day of remembrance, I want to invite you into the chapter where hope lives now. I want to tell you that I did get my legs back. They're the legs I stand on right now that enable me to offer you encouragement, hope, comfort. I can't tell you exactly when grief became my new normal, but I can tell you it took time. I can tell you the real healing began when I accepted there wasn't anything I could have done differently that would have extended his journey on earth. Peace came with the freedom of mind. When my lifelong confession of faith in God wasn't enough, I learned the real call to faith was trusting that love remains. It is love that sustained me during the darkest moments. It was love that comforted me when nothing else could. It was love that fueled my righteous anger for change. Without love, there would be no hope, there would be no peace, and there would be no reason to go on. Without love, love remains even when our bodies are no longer present. We all know and understand the existence of energy. We cannot deny the science. Our emotions create energy. We know the energy we feel when we are angry, and we are the recipient of anger. Unfortunately, we are all familiar with the energy we experience with grief. Emotions, both positive and negative, are part of the human condition. We know all energy moves, so it's important that we allow ourselves not just to feel good emotions, but also the very unpleasant ones. Giving ourselves permission to grieve allows the energy to move so it remains a feeling and not an identity. Trapped inside our souls, the difference between I feel sad and I am sad. We can and will have those moments, but how do we keep those moments from having us? Believing that love carries a moving energy, the movement and expression of love moves us forward like a roadmap that will eventually lead us home. It is the hope that allows us to remember this world is not a home, but a ship taking us there. Where is there? I believe there is where love reigns without the existence of death. It is the hope of being reunited with those who've gone before us. And I'm here to tell you, I believe that beauty will come from the ashes of your broken heart. Pain can be a catalyst to your destiny. On my grief-driven journey, I found purpose of my son's life and death on the blueprint of my life. The answer to, who am I now? I stand before you 10 years later, and I declare it is no longer what happened to me, but what happened in me. The pain has not disappeared, but I no longer serve my pain. It serves you, it serves me, and it serves the at-risk population I work with as a substance abuse counselor. Jerry Sitzer wrote in his book about his grief journey after losing his mother, his wife, and his 4-year-old daughter, leaving him a single father of 3 remaining children. And part of his story, he talks about a giant oak tree on his property that died shortly after he lost his family. And it was a tree that the whole family treasured, and it was something else in his life he had to grieve, which actually had to be cut down. And every morning he would look out and see that stump and be painfully reminded of the catastrophic loss in his life. And I don't remember if it was him or his neighbors, but there was bushes and flowers and gardens built around this stump. And a year later, he looked out and he could still see the loss, the stump, but he saw all the beauty that grew up around it. And I can see the beauty that has grown up around it. Every day, when I get to speak truth and life and hope into an at-risk student who's been traumatized or doesn't have parents or has been down the road of addiction, I see beauty in the ashes. I see that my son died so someone else's could live. So tonight, I want us to remember our loved one with that hope, that we will see beauty surrounding the loss where love remains. So God bless each and every one of you.
a deep breath, I think, right? We need to do. So what we'd like to do now is the candlelight part of our ceremony. Can you hear them? Okay, it's better. So we can give out the candles maybe. We have these, not real candles, they're little electric ones. They have a little, click on the bottom and they'll work for you. So we're going to have a special time devoted to the light that's inside of all of us and that's inside of all of our loved ones. I'd like to welcome you too after we finish our ceremony. We have little note cards against the wall and you're welcome to write a little note and stick it on the wall for your loved one. Put their name there.
Thank you.
A message, whatever you would like to do, before you leave today. We'd love for you to do that. We also have some nice purple bracelets up there. Please take some when you leave as well, right, to commemorate Overdose Awareness Day. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read a little poem to you. Together we'll turn on our candlelight now.
Safi, turn the lights down. Safi's going to turn the lights down.
Okay. And make sure I can see my poem. All right. So this is a poem called We Breathe with Hope. Right, Lisa, Adrienne, Charlie talk about hope. It's a really big word, even though it only has 4 letters. So we breathe with hope that the winds of memory blow across the waves of grief. Over the open seas and oceans, Spirit of mercy, you direct the waves and guide the tides to cease at the shore's edge. We have gathered here today to seek your comfort, Spirit of grace, as we say our loved ones' names. And may we hear them say, I am all around you. No, I am near. In the stillness, you'll hear me. I'll whisper my song. Love is eternal, a light that's not gone. Spirit of wind, bless us as we remember our dear ones whom we so love. When the waves of grief overwhelm us, steady us. Bring us peace, guide us ashore. Allow their memories to restore in our hearts the hope and joy our loved ones once brought. Amen. So now we'll just play some meditative music, give you some time to just be right now. Look at your candle, think of your memories. Think of also the many, many people all around the world that are doing the same thing that we're doing